Good evening and welcome to the July 25th, 2022 meeting of the Litchfield Board of Selectmen. We've been doing work session we're coming out of, and we'll start the meeting off by everyone rising to saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Everybody's in time tonight. Very good. So, all right. Let me put on the cheetahs here. So we have an AP manifest for July 19th, 2022 in the amount of $245,000, $584.37. My bad. And July 26th for $2,058,879.81. We have a PR manifest for July 21st, the amount of $68,582.57. And July 28th, $59,617.60. We have the town clerk, tax collector reconciliations, the PA 81 form, state forest property tax reimbursement. We have a property tax abatement map, OOUTIL, lot 00 FAIR, New England Telephone, amount of $924.35 with interest. We have a PA-28 form, which I have no idea what that is. We have a transfer to the expendable trust funds of $12,000 to technology and communication, $25,000 to fire vehicle and equipment repair, $25,000 to property reevaluation, and $80,000 to public works. And it's important to note that those are all items that were approved by warrant article in the March elections. Now these funds are being transferred to the proper departments. Does anyone have anything they want to remove from that? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept.
We have a motion by Mr. Lynch,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Ms. Queenan,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-0. Chairman Weber is not here tonight. He is at a work commitment, so we are 4-score. Okay. Any requests for additional items or other business for tonight's meeting?
I have a couple of things I'm going to bring up, but I can do it as a part of my selectmen's report.
Very good. All right, public input will occur no earlier than 6:45. Business, we have the July 11th, 2022 minutes. Everyone had a chance to look at them.
Yeah.
Any amendments? You have one.
Yes, I'd like to make an addition to the minutes.
Okay,
When we were discussing the ARPA funds,
Yep.
I made it a point to talk about the risk of spending the ARPA funds. And the addition that I'd like to make is just to say that Selectman Lascelles questioned the ARPA funds because their stated use was to make up for lost revenues because of the COVID crisis. And as far as I know, the town of Litchfield has not lost almost $1 million due to revenue shortfalls.
Mhm.
So I just want to go on record of questioning that.
Mhm.
And that and a couple bucks will get you a cup of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. But I just want to be on record of doing that.
I think it's a very valid concern. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, spending it and worrying about not being approved at the federal, and having to pay it all back. So, I mean, it's good. It's always good to ask questions and to be concerned. It's what we're supposed to do. Thank you. Anybody else or anything?
I just have a question. When I abstained from the survey,
Mhm.
do you say a reason why people abstain, or you just say abstained?
You can say a reason, but you don't have to.
Do you mind adding I abstained because I'm a member of the Litchfield Historical Society?
Is that a rule that you have to abstain, or did you do that as a courtesy?
Courtesy. No conflict, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can have a motion to approve the minutes with the amendments.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. LaSalle and a second from Mr. Lynch. No discussion? All right, all those in favor, Ms. Queenie?
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle?
Aye.
Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Motion carries 400. Very good. All right.
Oh, look who's next.
Next up, we have highway vehicle purchase, and we will invite our special guest, Mr. Kevin Brown, road agent.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, he's dressed in blue.
I believe Troy Brown kind of brought this to your attention last meeting
Yep.
and kind of forwarded you the what we're looking for. I'll just give you an explanation of what it is. It's a 2018 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive V8 flatbed. It's the Joe Grillo Repair is looking for $35,000 for it. If you look through, the Kelly Blue Book is in there, and it ranges anywhere from 38 to 43. So it's a good deal. If you've looked at vehicles at all lately, they're through the roof. Also, we're looking to put a sander, a salter, sand salter, a front plow, a wing plow on this for the additional sum. Would come out to $64,413. We'd like to use $60,000 from the Public Works Expendable Trust Fund and make up the rest out of my budget from our purchase line, our equipment purchase line. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get more trucks in-house, hire drivers rather than contractors. That way we know the quality of our vehicles are, in good shape every time they roll. We don't have to worry about, a contractor not having their truck up to whatever spec we need. And this is just a good way of us adding to our fleet without, having to buy brand new. Any questions on?
You're going to take some money out of the expendable trust, and then how much out of your budget?
Approximately $5,000. It's like $4,413. Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve the purchase of the said truck.
I'll second that because of the way things are going down there with Kevin's. He's trying to make sure we have a fleet that we can take and go. And that's the idea. And just
This
put the
will bring
drivers
us to 9.
Yep.
In a perfect world, I'd like to get up to 12, and then we'd cut back on our, on our subcontractors with their vehicles. We'd still have a few here or there, but we'd be most storms we'd do it on our own with our own vehicles.
on. Most towns do that now.
Try to.
Well, I think it's a good buy because we've been spending $100,000 like every year to buy a new truck.
Yeah.
So I think it's well worth it.
It is. Used vehicles are not bad. I got a 2003 Tundra. I just bought it 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
All right.
Not buying new
We have
again.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All right. All those in favor, Ms. Queenan,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch?
Hi.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 400.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Good-
guys.
Good work down there, man. Good work.
Hold on.
Kevin, I have a question if you
Sure.
don't mind. I just saw it today and it kind of fascinated me. Something on the internet where you hook it on, and this was just a common garden hose, but it was kind of a wand about this wide and it was on wheels.
Oh, for undercarriage.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the undercarriage. And you just scoot it in, it's on wheels. You scoot it in and it sprays water up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a common garden hose.
Yeah, well, you can hook it up. You can hook it up to a pressure washer too. They make them so you can
Yeah,
hook it up. And there's pressure washer heads that come up.
I have never seen anything
Yeah.
like that. I
Cleans.
was fascinated
The cleansing is very good with those. I've seen those. Great. They're amazing.
with all the salt that these trucks get.
I can't afford one now. I just bought a truck, but
No,
but no, I did see that myself.
have a
and-
Oh, did you?
yeah, oh yeah, no, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have a pressure washer.
I've got to.
I
We use them quite often.
know you do.
But to get underneath, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
I know one time I questioned the police department how they can keep these, 10 years with the mileage that they get and so forth. And they use the car wash over on 102 that has an undercarriage spray.
Yeah.
But when I saw that thing, I said, wow, that's
Yeah.
neat.
I did see that myself, and it is pretty interesting. I'll definitely look into that. And I think
We have winter equipment rental next. So I'm going to assume that's you as well.
that's still me. Yeah. All right. So
Really? Yeah, we don't know
with our backhoe, we've been using that to load salt. And the biggest issue one of the biggest issue we have with it is when you're digging into the pile and you go up in the pile, the front of the machine goes into the pile. So as you're lifting up, your brother has equipment, the front of the machine goes in and it fills the radiator up with salt and sand and dirt, whatever you're picking up. Because of that, we've already gone through in this one backhoe, we've gone through a radiator. When Jack was road agent, he replaced that, and now the front cage on ours is starting to rust out pretty bad, and I'm growing concerned about the radiator. Of course, with the CIP, we're kind of hoping that we could get a new backhoe, but if we don't, I'd like to prolong the life of this. It's pretty important, especially to Dave down in recycling, that we keep this thing running. He needs it. He uses it every day. So we have a contractor that does our sidewalks, and we've looked at getting snow blowers on skid steers for ourselves, but we really have no use for we had a very minimal use for a skid steer other than to do a sidewalk. So what I'm proposing is maybe not having a contract for the sidewalk plowing this year, taking that money and putting it towards the rental of a 6-month rental of a smaller front end loader, like what they call a mini front end loader, which we can use to load salt. I was already at Sunbelt Rental and trying to get prices in, so I'm not prepared to give you prices yet. But with a front angle plow attachment and a bucket, so we could use it to load salt during a storm, and then after the storm, we can use it to plow the bike path or push back corners or whatever else we might need for it. So it would just be another vehicle with a plow, or use it for salt. I just trying to think of ways to prolong the life of this backhoe, and keeping it out of the salt and keeping it away from the corrosion will help us, maintain that. And, for the same price with the way same price or close to the price, but we're paying a contractor for sidewalks and for push-ups, we could use this mini loader. So it's more of this is what we're looking at, kind of, we'll come back with some pricing. And if you guys approve that, we'll have to go in like either a 5 or 6 month rental for the winter months. But it's just kind of putting the thought into your head to think about it a little bit. Any questions with that?
You're still gonna do the sidewalks, you said?
We would use it. We would use it for the bike path. Yeah. So right now we have a contract. We usually give out an $8,500 guaranteed contract for the bike path. So if I could come in at say $9,000, $10,000 on a loader rental for 6 months, I can also use that to load salt, and that would take that backhoe out of the picture, and then we could use it for the bike path plowing, the next day after a storm, and it would keep all that in house.
Do we have liability with any sidewalks that we have to do?
Well, the bike
Not
path.
that there's more than just the bike path, and it's a
I would
few,
think
but
just
not
the
many.
sidewalks in
Just
front
the
of the
schools.
schools would be the important.
Well, we did. That's part of it. Yeah. So down from McElwain down to Griffin, we would have to do that sidewalk, and then we do the bike path, and then we haven't really spoken about the new Hillcrest one. When they put that in, it's really narrow. Even the snowblower couldn't do that because of how narrow it was. You're digging up. It's not as wide as the bike path, which is 90 to 99 inches.
So now we pay someone to do it, and if we rent something for $10,000 or $12,000, and then we still have to pay the guys to do it,
Well,
the cost is going to be a lot higher.
It would be the day after.
Yeah.
So it would be my guys the day after, So yeah, if it was a Friday night storm, well, Saturday we'd have to do it. But if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday storm, the next morning we come into work and one of my guys will go down and plow the bike path.
And aren't you usually doing cleanup on the day after?
Absolutely.
But it's a lot more to do, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's more, but
I'm thinking of the dollars. That's all.
no, I understand that. And of course, this year we're going to have another full timer. So we're going to have another employee and we'll still, I still use contractors. I still use either driving my truck or one of their trucks. A lot of the guys that are pavers that work for me through the winter, I'll call them in the next day.
Do the kids that walk to school in that mile radius to the high school still in the winter? I don't know if they do.
Usually from Dara to the Campbell is the big one because a lot of the kids that got their license late, they park at Dara because they don't have a parking spot yet.
Is that where the secret spot is?
What's that?
That's where the secret spot is.
They park at Dara. Yeah.
So is there a liability issue if those kids have to get to school the next
I don't think
day?
it should be.
I just want to make sure we have no liability with the town of a trip.
Yeah, that's a really
And like
good
kids
point.
there's a mile radius or 2 miles, they walk to school, right? And if
But
it's
they
the
don't
next
do
day-
that.
No,
They don't?
no, not really. We only have sidewalks, basically in the McGowan area of Pinecrest.
Yeah.
And then the bike path. And you don't see kids walking, the length of the bike path. It's usually just the kids that
Oh,
park.
no, it's just the mile radius of the high school.
But even still, there's nothing at Talent. Talent doesn't have anything. There are no sidewalks in town other than the bike path.
I'll bet you there isn't 24 kids that walk to school. And there's way more than that live close, I know what the rule is, but very few
There's a lot of drop-offs.
drop-offs and drive to school or
I mean, if you go down Pinecrest, I mean, I'm only the fourth road up on Pinecrest. I'm within a mile, and the bus still stops for my kids and straight down, almost to McGowan. So I don't think there are a lot of walkers. I don't see them out there when I'm driving around, but we do need to keep the sidewalks from the middle school down around to Griffin.
Yeah, but only because the planning board, we're looking at that, and there are no sidewalks like the ones across, there's some of the other streets down there, they're all bird names, right?
Yeah, on the far
But
side.
those kids I do see coming in the morning, but there's no sidewalks there to plow, but the streets would be plowed, right?
Well, the streets will be plowed.
That's
Yeah,
what you do today.
yeah.
Back to the old days, you walked on the side of the road.
uphill both ways.
So I'll come back. I'll come back with that with some numbers, and we can revisit that, closer to the winter. But that's a thought I had, and I kind of want to put it into your thinking caps that it's a possibility.
All right.
Thank you, Kevin.
Food for thought.
It is. Thank you. I like the idea too.
But we won't hold that against him.
You will.
Don't do too much thinking, right?
Actually brings up a good point. If the town is given the approval to use Dara as a overflow parking lot,
That's a separate issue by itself. Town hasn't done that.
because that's a liability for the town.
But we do plow that
Yeah.
every storm.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand that because the kids use it during the winter and
Yeah.
stuff. But I mean, as far as using it for an overflow parking lot, that creates a whole nother.
They can't get a parking spot at school, so they're going down here again to get one.
Right.
That's
I
something-
wasn't aware that they were doing that, but
I've seen cars there during the day, but I never thought.
Yeah, it's usually kids who get their license after the school year started, and they don't have parking spots, so they don't want to spend the $100 or whatever it is, and they park down there and they walk. This is a short walk; it's not that far.
It's no different than that you live in the city. You used to walk to the school. Same idea. You're parked in a parking lot, like in Nashville, you could be a Bradley, we'll say. Go to high school across the street back in the day.
All right.
Thank you, Kevin.
Very good. Thank you
All right.
very much, Mr.
One more.
It's not on my
Anything else you
list.
need?
No, there's one more.
Oh,
Robin
there's one more. What is that?
is it Robin. I thought that was in the agenda. Robin F.
Nope.
Nope.
but go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna throw it at you anyway.
Since you're here.
So we had a concern with Robin. You know, Robin's a mess.
Yeah.
I think we all know that it has been, and our biggest concern was the drainage. You know, the under the ground drainage. Well, Ray Bellamore from Bellamore, what do they call it, disposal pumping. They just picked up a new truck that has robotic cameras, and he called me and said, "Hey, I got this new unit, and we'd like to, you know, we're kind of giving everybody a free test run. Is there a road you'd like to look at?" And I said,
Yes.
"Just happens to be." So Ray brought up his vac truck, and he brought up the remote control robot truck, and we did a complete tour of Robin Road's drainage, and it's awesome.
Oh, nice.
It's in great shape. I'm going to call him, and he's going to be able to give us a thumb drive with the whole video of it, so that, you know, if we want to let
Good.
Lou Karen or someone look at it, or if anybody's interested, we can look at it. But the drainage up there is perfect. It's
It's
you
just
know,
the road has gone bad.
It's just the road. So that's a really good thing for us, where we were looking at an expensive warrant article, maybe $200,000, $400,000. Now it's just it's going to have to be a mill. They're going to have to mill it
Mill it.
and pave it.
Yep.
But it's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Robin with a Y.
With the
Robin
Y,
with the
yeah.
Y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next to Skipper Jerry's old place.
Right next to the field where they put hay this year.
But it's only a section. So it's, you know, it's only maybe, you know, it's the bigger part of the hill, but maybe 300 yards long. It's really not, it's
It's
not
coming
that
down
bad.
the slope, going around the corner right there.
Yeah. But it stops way up on the corner, Kev,
Yep.
from Sybil.
Sybil.
It's still 150 yards up.
Yep.
They
It's
paved.
up, it's good, Sybil, and it goes up good still.
Yeah.
Then it gets into that slope and it turns bad.
Right. So
I was
that's
gonna say-
just good news I wanted to pass along, that, you know, we have
I was gonna say, close it.
we lucked out. I suggested it, but
Why? You got two ways of getting to everywhere.
Is that on the list of the roads that
it's
are
not.
upcoming?
It's not. And it wasn't, because it is probably one of our worst roads. And it wasn't just because we were concerned with the, you know, with the underground piping, you know, with the drainage. And now that it's acceptable, now we can pave it. Now we can put it on the list. So probably next year's, we'll look and see what we have already scheduled for next year. And it all depends upon what kind of money we come through with.
We do have the ARPA funds.
We are, right. And you know something, and if that's what the CIP suggests, and that's what you guys suggest to use that money for, then we can look at the roads that I suggested earlier and maybe alter that and push some of those off and get something like that in.
Or
You know,
do an addition.
right. So yeah, so good news.
Mhm.
I guess that's all I got.
Very good. Thank you, Kevin. That was a lot.
Thank you. I'm coming back for after, so
You coming back for after?
yeah.
Nice. I hope you bring something to eat.
I just have a half a bottle of water. I'll share them.
No.
Later.
Very good.
I'm here for employees.
Oh, okay. So next we have the town administrator and selectmen reports. And I'll turn this over to Ms. Karen White.
Mr. Chairman,
Hey,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
perhaps if we could call for public input now.
Oh, yeah. All right. Can you hold 1 minute?
Sure.
Okay. So it is now 6:55 and we will open it up for public input. Everyone's shaking their head. So we will close public input and we will return to Ms. White.
Thank you. I've been working on the budget with Troy. The first review for some of the departments with the selectmen is on 8/8. So those will be due on August 1st. So I'm
Mhm.
still waiting for a couple of those to come in.
Mhm.
Being summertime and vacation, some of the departments are still working on them. Troy returns to work on Thursday, the 4th, and his last day is Friday, August 5th.
He's not dumping this on you, is he?
I had sent Troy
Yeah.
a couple of requests on behalf of the budget committee a little while back about some expenditures, police overtime and legal. Do you know if he's done anything?
I
with them
haven't
yet?
heard, but you can send it to me. Do they, I thought legal we had answered. Maybe not. Yeah, just send it to me and I'll look at it.
I'll go back
Yeah.
through my emails and get it, my email from Chairman's son,
Okay.
send it to you.
CC her and that's the time, most of the time. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, okay.
Karen, are we prepared for Troy to be gone?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I understand that, but is there anything that we or you can do to grease the skids before he leaves?
Like, in.
I don't know. I don't know what,
Yeah, I don't know, I think we'll have to talk about that one and see where we are at. I mean, right now, we're in budget season and that's hard, we still have vacations, on my side of the office, so.
You're gonna have your
I
hands
think
full.
we'll be okay. What?
You're gonna have your hands full.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my hands full.
I would hope that Troy will be missed. I'm just saying that.
Oh, he'll be missed.
Okay. Next, we have selectmen reports. So we will start with Ms. Queenan.
Me,
Since you have all the papers over there.
like Mr. LaSalle's, I will bring this up during my selectmen reports.
Okay.
Do you mind if you and I share? I only printed 4. Would you like one?
Yeah.
And if you and I share? I'll send it next to you.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Which? There you go. All right, I'm not sure I'm gonna go over all of them
Oh, boy.
because, yeah, no, it's okay. No, I may. It's not that alarming, guys. It's really not. It's gonna be very quick. You and I are sharing, right?
Yes.
This is, has to do with the planning board anyway. Updates.
Okay.
One of those. You can hand it back to me when you're done. It just sits in process.
Good. I have too much paper at home now.
I know. There you go. And again, I may not go over them all, but if I decide to, right here.
Wow.
It's pictures. It's not that long. All right. Well, I'll do the easy part first for our one taking the minutes there, Matthew. Capital Improvement Plan Committee. Next meeting is Monday, August 1st, 2022, here at 6 p.m. here at the Town Hall. We have not met since June, I believe, so we have a lot of work to do since it's budget season coming up. The Planning Board, next meeting is August 2nd, 7 p.m. here at the Town Hall. We're working with NRPC to fill out our application for the 10-year transportation plan project for 3A and Corning Road. NRPC also suggested if we wanted to, we could submit an application for the Pinecrest Street sidewalk if we wanted to bring that up again. We had applied for a grant the prior year, but this one also could be a candidate. We will also, in the planning board, start looking at 2023 warrant articles. The National Regional Planning Commission, the next meeting is Wednesday, September 21st, 7 p.m. at NRPC's office at 30 Temple Street in Nashua. So now we're going back to the planning board. That's the copies that you see here. We had a request come in from a citizen on what to do when the town hall is closed if they see violations happening, either at a site that's in town or maybe one that's in process. I'm not going to say the site, that might be specific, but in general, if the town hall is closed, how do we make a complaint?
A planning board,
This citizen came into the planning board and asked how to solve this.
okay.
So I went and I asked Jeff Blackwell, I've interviewed him twice. I interviewed Troy, what he does when complaints come in. I interviewed the police department. Kevin, I interviewed you. And so what ended up happening is I found out what we do today currently. And now John Brunell in the IT department is also starting to do some things that maybe will help the situation. So if you look at the bigger packet first, right now, I'll just go through the pictures. The first sheet's the longest, but after that, it gets easy. Right now, all of us, even as board members, we either get phone calls or texts or, we bump into somebody. There's many ways that these complaints come in, and we're all handling them differently, right? So that's tough because Troy, or whoever the administrator is going to be, has no insight into who's working what unless we involve him. There's also no standard with the person from the public that we're dealing with. So right now, the bullets here, there's no way to track all the complaints or the reports that are coming in. There's no way to capture as much information that you need up front. It's just sometimes we're going back and forth with them. It's an inconsistent way. We're all doing it a good way, but we're doing it our own way. The town admins do not have visibility into the items that might have been directed to somebody else. For example, somebody might telephone call the building inspector, and he has a log of calls. And then all of a sudden, Troy might get a call or whoever saying, "Where is this?" And he has no insight into what's happening. So there's no way for the public to create a complaint or report online, right? Or the town hall right now, or Board of Selectmen. There's no
It doesn't
standard.
have to be a complaint though, right?
No, it could just be a report or an inquiry, or, that kind of
Or
thing.
some sort of action item.
Oh, yeah, I had 3 calls last week. No one knows that I do them. You have calls, right? Nobody knows. And sometimes we involve administrator if we need to, but right?
Like
Sometimes
that-
it's just to research something, right?
Like an example would be when the people in the neighborhood called about the water.
Yeah.
Okay, my thought was that I copied everybody, explained what I had done, but I figured that the town administrator is the clearinghouse for all of this stuff. So,
And I had one of the calls last week was something on a zoning ordinance. So I'm doing research for them to get back, so it's one of those. So, yeah, we're all handling it. But if it rises to the occasion, we bring it for everybody to know. We follow that process that
Yeah.
you just said. Yeah, absolutely.
like the other thing is an ongoing thing here with the Tanninger Way situation,
Oh, yes, yes.
which I'm trying to figure out how we can resolve that
Mhm.
situation, but it's tough. And I'm just
Yeah.
thinking out loud here.
Yeah.
Couple of instances where this could fall right in, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah. And sometimes it might be too big for something like this, where it is a topic off to the side like
Well,
that with
like-
legal involved.
The Tanninger Way thing's been going on for years.
Yep. It is.
And, we have probably a file this thick.
We do. Yeah. And POFAs,
What's
the
that?
POFAs, another one.
Yeah.
No standard metrics or reports can be provided, and there's no standard way I do an email, you do an email, it's just,
Yeah.
everything's right now, the police department is doing something. I'm going to show you a little bit of explain what they're doing, but I think the highway department actually is going to be an example that we're using, and the conservation. The police department is using something I'm going to show you now to reduce paperwork, somebody coming in and filling out a form, or they're doing, whatever, going around looking at home. So, all right. So next page, if you go to right now, I'm going to show you something that's online right now. First of all, I want to thank John Brunel. He already has implemented some of the scenarios you're going to see here. I'm thinking we can maybe make a town complaint form and not just little groups going on. So right now, if you look at the main website, up here, there's one called Online Forms up on the top right of the toolbar, okay? And if you go to the next page, it's for the volunteer registration form. So if you click over, the person goes right into putting in information onto the screen, okay? Are you on the volunteer form? Oh, Kevin's still.
I'm getting there.
Kevin saw a
Yeah.
picture.
So see how you can start entering data in, who wants to register? What's their name, the date of birth, where they live, right? All of that. And then hit the submit application. And we have seen that come in front of us in a form of this person wants to go for the capital improvement plan, right? This person wants to go for planning board, right? Another example, this is conservation. On the next page is another example of a form. It hasn't gone live yet. He's showing us how it works. See the drop-down menu on the conservation area? And in the middle of the screen, there's an issue or a problem. So I'm going to drop-down menu on the first one called conservation name, and I'm going to pick the John Bryant River access. Okay, you see that?
Oh,
Then I'm going to go down to the next line, which is on the next page, issue or problem. And I'm going to pick, what did I pick? Parking. Okay. And then I filled in some other information. I just made up, there's 18 wheelers parked there, and there's no space, right? And I put my information and I hit the submit button. And based on how I entered the information on those two things, conservation area and problem, and we also know it's conservation, it's going to be a table of information saying conservation, John Bryan access, parking, and it's going to get emailed directly to who's responsible, probably the department head, but. So it's all table driven, and I'm going to keep showing you more examples of that. So go to the next example. This is the highway department. Now, I will say, let's go. There are no complaints, actually. If you could go back two pages where I put in the John River access. You can see there's a note up there that if it's an emergency to call the police department. That's a disclaimer on this one. I do like that. All right, now let's go back to the highway department one, 2 more pages the other way. See how the required information up front is who is the person and the address. You know, my point is you can have required in fields that have to be filled in, okay, and enter it. So before we get in there, go to the next page. I just picked down, what did I select? The drop-down menu of the type of work that I want for the highway department. And I guess I picked road hazard. And I just put the intersection of 123 Main Street in Albuquerque. There's a sheet of ice, sanding needed, right? Mailbox hit, whatever. So you can go in there and see a list of people, and if we're all complaining about the same street real time, you can go there first, right? Kind of thing. And you submit. Notice also all of these have a choose file at the bottom. You can upload a photo or a document. So anyone who wants to make a complaint any time of day, whether the town hall is open or not, can put it in. We can enter it ourselves. If somebody calls us, I can just go off to the building inspector. I'm out of the loop.
What if somebody doesn't have a computer?
That's another thing we'll handle. Yeah, we'll handle that. Yeah.
'Cause I'm
We can
calling
enter
you.
that for them. Yeah. Yeah. So how the form works is the next page. So those forms are in there. I don't know how you're using it now because I don't see it on the screen, but I'm sure they're being used. But we could make a form for the public to have just a standard complaint form by department, but we'll get into that in a minute. So right now, this software uses conditional routing. Based on the conditions you put on the screen is how the email gets routed, okay? It's routed to the correct person based on their department, the type of reports that we selected, right? It captures the needed information up front. It allows pictures to be uploaded. That's going to help the person that came into the planning board saying, it's closed, but how do I go about this, right? Can I have some instruction message? We can have that. Remember, you can call the fire department or the police department. It's an emergency. Don't put a complaint, All right. For zoning questions, maybe we are going to send it to the building inspector. I don't know. Data that you put in, that they're typing in, is stored in a database, of course. Plus, it's also in a spreadsheet in the background, so a lot of reports can be generated off this. The Board of Selectmen can get a weekly report if we would like to see that. So, all right, you can enter the data on a computer, you can enter it on the phone. Back to the conservation. You ever hear those QR codes that people use? They got to put one at each park, and the person with a mobile phone can click on that code, and then they can start entering the data in right away, so they'll know exactly where they are, kind of thing. Yeah. The bye-bye address, right? What's your QR code? So the people for the public can fill it in, the town hall staff can fill it in, Board of Selectmen members can fill it in. John Brunel was saying, being a board of selectmen, people do want to talk to you directly. They want you to help them personally. And that can be a call that we make, on that, because some of that is catered. I'm not saying we have to do this. I'm just saying it's a way, it's an option. Okay, forms can be filled out 24/7, 365 all the time, right? Not just when the town hall is open and personnel's here. Once it's routed to department head or chief, it could go to a fire chief or a police chief, right? They will handle it like they do today. Because right now, Troy gets a call. He does a manual email, sends it to them and says, handle it. Now he's got to kind of monitor it off the system. There's no way he can. So let them do what they're doing today. Let them handle it. They can go in and close it when it's done. And if somebody puts in that they want to be contacted afterwards, they can get a standard message saying it's completed or it's handled.
I know this is.
Yeah.
Is there any way for us after the fact to put, say, hypothetically, we knock the mailbox down, we've got a complaint, we repaired it, and I take a picture of it. Is there a way for me to go back in there and add to it?
At the moment, no, but I think we
Okay.
should talk to John because we could let's talk to him to also have
Yeah,
that.
just a thought. That's all.
No, it's a good idea.
Yeah, that it's done. So if you guys say, oh, wow, you can look at it and say, oh, yeah, they did repair it, or they did fix that, or cleared it, or whatever.
Yeah, let's definitely talk to him on that. Right now, too, I send an email, you send an email, we think anything that's created should automatically be CC'd to the town admins. Some of the stuff can be CC'd to a board member, but we're volunteers, right? We might not see it for a week, but somebody at the town hall will always see it, right? But if they all have the standard title, you can put them in a basket, you know what I mean, kind of thing, and handle them. So again, at least you see what's happening there. So, but it's meant to save time and it's meant to be consistent. And it's meant to give them a way to do that. And it's looking like John is trying to move this way now. It's just, we haven't really done a big rollout at this point. And it might be something the board doesn't want to do. I'm just saying this is my research of where, you know, what we decide. So again, I think standard emails to everybody with a standard template, and so, you know, it just fills in it just pulls the data from the, right, and dumps it into an email kind of thing. And maybe weekly reports can be generated. Okay, so if you wanted to do it, what you would do, skip this page for a second. You can see I have a spreadsheet here. It has the departments. I just went up to the town website and looked at all the departments, and I just dumped them into the first column, right? Ignore the building department for a minute, but go to conservation. See how they had Moore's Falls was one of them. And then afterwards, they had the safety concerns and all of this trash. These all start to duplicate here, right? It just depends on the area, Moore's Falls, Munster. So we'll have a big spreadsheet of all of this and who the email would go to and who it would be CC'd to. So it's just, he can add entries in the table, take away entries in the table. There's no software changes needed, right? It's all table driven. Okay, and so the job would be for the department heads to come up with what they want to see in those drop-down menus, right? What are the top scenarios they see and where do they want it to get routed to? And they may not want to do it. You know, this is my favorite thing. Do you go and do you just implement conservation first and then implement, you know, or do you just go live with whatever you want to do? So back one page. So instead of the town admin directly sending emails to the department heads and chiefs, you can type it into the system and send it off it goes. I think the assistant should be CC'd as well, especially now that he will not be here or she. Okay, again, I just got into we're volunteers. We may not see it the next day, but somebody from the town would. Next step would be to prepare a matrix if we wanted to do it. And John can do this as a prototype and see how it works. We don't have to implement it right away. We can just see if it works. The only thing is about a name. Some people don't want their name. They want to be anonymous because once you put a name in there, you have the right to know stuff going on legally, right? So it doesn't have to be a required field unless
And that's
some
where
towns make you put something in.
You have to have a name.
Okay, so if you put in John Doe,
That's not going to be.
your
good enough.
IP address will be known. so don't try it at home or your
You know,
phone.
Everybody likes to complain, but
Right.
it's for personal reasons most okay.
Right.
The town policy before.
Yeah.
You had to have a written complaint.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
and you did it in writing. It's the way it's always been.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yep.
now you're talking about putting it on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just another
Yeah.
way of doing it.
So you
But
can
you
you
need
can
a
make
name.
it you can make it a required field. You just hope
Yeah.
they don't put anything stupid, but you can
Right.
track the IP.
You know, just from a department head side of it.
Yeah.
You know, the unfortunate incident we had with the pole and the decorations.
Yeah.
I could see that becoming a Facebook
Absolutely.
deluge.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have any name on, hey, this, you know, and they just start hitting it.
Yep.
The phone will blow up
Yeah, it will. There's no
you know,
doubt.
if there's no name on it without any kind of, you know,
Justification.
That
Maybe
makes-
they
that
can
makes
put
sense.
a
I mean,
limit on
Yep.
25 or something. You know, I've talked to him about that, or if it's a duplicate or
you know, a
something.
name and an address.
It's another way to come at us. Yeah.
Contact.
You hope they don't do that. You know.
As a building inspector, people used in zones, this is zoning for years. Certain people complain, but they didn't want the name used.
Right.
Unfortunately, I don't have an official complaint.
Mhm.
I have just somebody whining. Okay,
Yep.
and that's not good enough. Everybody likes to whine. Okay, we all know that in life. We
The
gotta have a documentation to proceed.
The only thing I heard that maybe why you wouldn't, and that's another thing we can talk about is not that we have a lot of big businesses here in town, but if somebody worked at a company and saw something code enforcement wise and wanted to be anonymous, because if the boss sees who made the complaint, it might be a problem.
Well, maybe I would suggest that doesn't go to a department head. Maybe that should.
Maybe. So
Maybe
that's,
that
I mean,
should
we
go
need to
to the
discuss this
administrator.
scenarios.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
As more secure.
Sure. But Kevin, you're right. There are towns that say no name.
No
That doesn't
complaint.
happen.
And I'm going to stick to that because everybody has their days and they don't want. Karen worked on my side. People used to come in and complain, but never write things down. And I said, you ain't going to write it. We don't have an official complaint.
Yeah.
If you can't see it from the street, we have nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. If I drive by and see there is something wrong, That's a separate issue.
Mhm.
Okay, but you go out there and you can't see anything, you got nothing.
Right.
As for mailboxes, they're acceptable loss.
So yeah, we may not adopt
Not
this,
to the
but it
homeowners.
would be. We might not want to adopt it. We might not want to use it. Some
Yeah.
people may, but if again, it's for somebody that when the town hall is closed, how do they get it here? And we
Right.
read our emails periodically anyway.
I see it
always
as a good
Troy.
tool, and especially when, like John just said, they can't close. He can close the loop.
Oh, he can. Oh, he
Yeah,
did.
he said
He's
he
listening.
Just,
Good.
he just texted me.
Perfect.
They told me to talk to the camera.
Yeah.
Um,
John's doing
but
awesome.
I just don't want it to become a people. I don't want people beating us with it. To be
Correct.
overloading us because they're upset about the situation.
Absolutely.
And sometimes what that's there is permitted. It's allowed. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, just by pros, it's tracking all the complaints that do come in.
Mhm.
It captures the right details up front, consistent way to report. Town admins have visibility that they might not have had before. We're doing other things separate. Metrics can be provided. The cons is it's going to be a learning curve and some training.
There has to be a name attached to the complaint.
I hope it's not John Doe. You have to maybe verify.
There's
an
no John
address.
Doe's in town that I
We
know
can
of in
maybe
a tax
bump it up
map.
against an edit check on an address, but I'll talk to John on how to
Yep.
help it. But you just hope, so again, just think about it. It's all in process. So when I go to the person who came in front of the planning board, who might be watching right now, these other pieces of paper are from the police department that you have and the town hall of what they do today.
Yep.
So he has an answer now. But if this does get implemented, it would add to this answer. So I just want to make sure.
I like it because now I'll have Karen, I'll have Heather, I'll have Donna. Sometimes even the tax collector's office will take a phone call, and I'll get calls, I'll get emails, and I don't have any way of monitoring myself. I'll be doing something, I'll get a call, be like, oh yeah, 72 Pinecrest. Okay, yeah, great. And I'll go by, and then Karen will be like, you take care of 72 Pinecrest. I'll be like, I just because I don't have that means to write it down at that point or something. So it's a good way. It would be a good way for us to track.
Yeah.
Issues.
Can you look in and see if you have open issues? You can look in and at least see the street. We got so many mailboxes that we have.
I would hope so.
Yeah, so that's what it's for. Oh,
Yeah.
we have a lot of, John is thinking, and we won't know till it goes live. Highway department will get most of the calls and probably building department. Right? I think that makes sense. I thought he would gauge maybe 9, 15 a week
Yeah.
of true complaints, not complaints. He's calling them reports. Concerns, a report or questions.
We get quite a few. I mean, highway gets, roadside erosion, potholes, mailboxes, trees, a lot of brush, keeps
Growing into the
around.
street.
Animal.
You know what I mean? Dead
Animal hit.
animals. We
Yeah.
do get dead animals quite often, with water in the stream that's high because of beavers. We have quite a few, don't we?
We used to keep a spreadsheet. Do
We
you guys still
in
do
the
that?
winter. We do in the winter on the mailboxes.
Well, now you'll have it
Donna
here.
keeps it, yeah.
Now you'll have it. So that's a dual stuff you're doing. But you don't want to put anything in place that's making you do extra work, right? You want this to hopefully get rid
but
of
if
other
you- but If
things.
you're out there and it goes bling and
Yeah, you can look at it on your phone.
Oh, that's not a right now thing. It's later, but it's
Yeah.
still there for later.
And some of the things as a board member I get a call on, I will take personally because, it's something easy or research, they're looking for, whatever. But some of the things, you're right, you have to bring it to everyone's attention. Yeah. So just to think about it, we're in process. Nothing's been done with it yet, but let you know that it
It's a good
does
concept.
exist today. And maybe we can leverage it today for a town hall report, not the individual ones. Those would be embedded in it, probably, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
You
Kim.
want to do your CIP next?
I already did. It wasn't pretty. We haven't met since June
Okay.
because we had the holiday, July
Yeah.
2nd or 4th. We're meeting Monday. Yeah, the 1st, August 1st.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Weber's not here tonight, so we don't have a recreation or school facilities improvement. So we move on to Mr. LaSalle's Heritage Commission.
Yes, the Heritage Commission did meet. We actually met out here in the gazebo, which is nice. I have a complaint about the gazebo.
Writing.
There are,
We're not putting restrooms out there.
but there's some plastic Adirondack chairs out there that are broken. And there's also Christmas lights that are broken out there.
I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Oh,
No,
so
If they're broken, get rid of them,
Yeah.
they go.
My guys go by and pick them up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
we may need to, I'm not sure that we would want to replace those Adirondack chairs because I don't think they were appropriate in the first place. Somebody like me, once he gets in it, can't get out. So,
Now we know why they're broken.
yeah.
Otherwise, we have a place to hold you.
Attach the picture.
They have a holding cell over there.
Fill out one of those.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. I don't know how you're using that. It's not online. You have it somehow. but-
I'll take my boys over there and take care of them.
But the result of that meeting, we've been working on the dark hole stable deal for a while, and that has been approved for demolition. So whatever's going to be demolished. So that will be beginning now. So people will begin to see some progress down there. So the other thing which I posted on the What's Up page, I don't know if you folks, there's a and actually this is for the benefit of the people out there in virtual land, but there's a program on Channel 9 on Sunday morning called Close Up. And it's on at, 10 o'clock on Sunday morning for a half hour. And I feel it's part of my duties to watch that as much, at least monitor it. And they had an interesting discussion with one of the top dogs at the Department of Environmental Services about PFOAs. And for people that are here in Litchfield who are, I'm not exactly how it impacts, but people who are being impacted by the Saint-Gobain issue in any way should reference the website that I posted on the What's Up page. And basically what it is, it's a website. There's a new program that offers $5,000 for people who have been impacted to buy filtration systems. So this is something that we've discussed quite a lot. And the other thing is $10,000 to hook up to city water. So, I'm not sure how it impacts people that are already gotten there, but for like people that are on Shirley Way or Rocky Hill who have not hooked up yet and are using bottled water, I mean, they need to look at that. Now, for people who are not on the internet, which you have to assume that there are those. I think we have a list somewhere of everybody that's been impacted by Saint-Gobain. I think we have that list.
I'm sure Troy does.
We should have.
Yeah, I'm sure Troy does.
Yeah. I would like to send them a snail mail letter with this and get it out as quick as possible, because I don't know how long these funds are going to last. And at $5,000 or $10,000 a clip, they're not going to last forever. And that's for the whole state. So
I thought it also went for the people that have already put their own in to get reimbursed. I thought that's what I read.
I don't want to say,
Yeah.
because I saw it on Channel 9 and I said, wow, and I haven't had a chance to really research it. I gave the link on the What's Up page just to get it out there.
Yeah.
But I haven't, did you see it, Karen? Did you
No.
see it?
Somewhere.
No, I'm not on it that much.
I saw your link.
Yeah, I
I'll have to
think,
look,
I
see if
think
can
people,
find it.
excuse me, people that are here in Litchfield, it behooves them to check that out. Okay.
Can you put that on the website then? Town Litchfield website?
This is from the New Hampshire DES.
Yes.
Yeah, I have it on my phone here. I'm going to send it to everybody. Karen, I'll CC you as well.
Okay.
Send it to John Burnell. See if John will put it on the website. That's a good idea, Kevin.
Thank you.
That's one you've had. But
Check that off for today. I'm done.
Now, if I did it right,
I should get
The
it.
reason is you put it on the Litchfield WhatsApp page, okay,
Oh, yep. I
bingo,
got it.
right there, okay?
yeah, this
And
said
on
on
the town
on the link, the note says treatment installations completed after September 30th, 2019 are eligible for this program. Eligibility must be determined through the application process and approval from
Wow.
NHDES.
Okay, 2019, they didn't even start anything then.
so it could impact a lot of people.
That's excellent.
And the other thing is, people are still being impacted. You know, just because you tested negative before doesn't mean you're not going to test positive
Yeah.
tomorrow. You know, so people need to keep this aware.
The question I have with St. Cobain or the testing program, I know they came down once, they tested a bunch of wells.
Did you get it?
And those, some of us were clean, some of us were not. Okay, and we ran the water lines to the house, didn't
Mhm.
tie in, we just got the water lines to the house. Okay, but is St. Cobain gonna be testing each year, those wells?
Yes, I did.
What if St. Gobain goes out? You know, that was my question of Troy. I said, for these people that are using bottled waters,
Yeah.
is St. Gobain is that going to be there forever? You know, what if St. Gobain goes bankrupt?
You got it.
What happens to those folks? So
Okay,
I think, you know, anytime you're dealing with that, it's tough. But I think it's important. And Karen, if we could, if we can come up with a list, I would like to see the town send out a letter, snail mail, to all these folks saying, "Hey, listen, take a look at this."
Yeah.
As soon as possible. I don't know how soon we could do it, but
put it on
And
the
the
webpage,
list,
Becker.
having which properties? Like,
The ones that have been affected, and
All-
probably everyone
all-
in the area.
or just the ones that have not been hooked up yet?
I think you gotta hit all the ones who've been
I
affected.
think based upon what Robert just read, somebody that's already been involved
Mhm.
could be very much impacted by this. So I think we should hit people as many people that's been affected.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's going to be several hundred. I think, didn't we say 600 at one point?
Yeah, there's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
So it's a big task. But I feel an obligation that, you know, that we're sitting on this. It's something brand new. It could impact people, you know, 5 or 10 grand.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But
I'll opt for the filtration system myself.
uh,
I'll take the filtration system.
well, that way you don't have a Penachuk bill. That's the big thing. If you can put in a filtration system and get them to pay for it,
Yeah.
and I think $5,000 would buy the
Or buy a
filter.
nice one, yeah.
Yeah, didn't we say 2,800 or something like
Yeah,
that?
something
Yep.
like that, yeah.
So 5 grand is plenty.
Get a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that way you don't have a Penachuk bill.
You can do water your lawns and not worry about them complaining.
The other thing too, for the folks that are out there on Tanager Way, and I'm continuing to get calls from people, and this goes back several years, and there doesn't seem to be a resolution. We have thrown our hands up so many times on this issue. At this point, I think we need to, there doesn't seem to be any state control over this sort of thing. Like somebody wants to put in a firing range or whatever. They get local planning board approval. And in a lot of cases, that's as far as it goes, And I don't, apparently somebody brought up the fact that the Sig Sauer thing on 101, apparently they had bullets that were hitting cars on 101. And I don't know how they resolved that, and I know we had people here from Londonderry Fish and Game, and we've had people from the neighborhood, but I just don't want people to think that it's over and done with. We can't do anything. We're washing our hands. No, I think we still have a responsibility to pursue this. At this point, I think I need to go to Concord and see what I can figure out. Who at the Department of Safety has jurisdiction over this sort of thing, and see where we can go. And if nobody has jurisdiction, to me, that's a big gaping hole that needs to be resolved. And I just don't want those people on Tanager Way thinking that we've forgotten them, because that's not the deal. I know they're in a different town. I know they're in a different county. I know the police departments have investigated this and everybody's throwing up their hands, but it just seems to me the thing that's interesting is they've got this long firing range. Well, it so happens that where you shoot from up to the target is uphill. Okay, that's fine. They got a berm behind it, and then they got like a mile of trees. Well, so if you shoot, and I asked the question, the legal person, if you shoot and it goes over the berm, does it hit the trees? And the lawyer said, yes, it hits the trees. Thing of it is, they're shooting uphill. If they go over the berm, and I haven't seen it, but if they go over the trees, then Tanager Way is almost like 100 feet lower. So the bullet's going uphill and then going downhill toward Tanager Way. And that's where the elevation comes in. And that's a thing that I think somebody from the state needs to look at. Rick Charbonneau has already said he'll give them the fill to build a bigger berm. So I don't know what the resolution is, and again, I just don't want people on Tanager Way thinking we've forgotten about it. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Lynch.
Nothing. Conservation has not met. Coming up.
And the budget committee doesn't meet again till August, end of the month, I believe. So we'll be in budget by then. Right. If anybody doesn't have anything else, I think that's going to conclude this portion of the program.
I concur.
Okay, very well. We have two items left in non-public session under RSA 91-A semicolon 3(2)A, compensation of a public employee, and RSA 91-A semicolon 3(2)B, hiring of a public employee. We will entertain a motion to go into non-public.
So move.
Motion from Ms. LaSalle.
Second.
Second from Mr. Lynch. All those in favor, Ms. Queenan,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's.
Aye.
Mr. Lynch.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 400. We are now going into non-public session. Everyone at home, have a wonderful night. Stay well. And we'll see you soon.